Alright guys, I've been wanting to make this video for you since, I think it was yesterday, might even have been the day before, I can't remember. And a few of you have asked me, for my comments or thoughts about it when we've been on the streams, and we have discussed this on the streams, we did it last night. Talking of streams, the minute the full-time whistle is blown tonight, I will be live on here if you'd like to come along and discuss the game or anything else to do with Liverpool Football Club. Alright. So, you'll have seen these quotes come out from Rafa, as Tom Hicks would say, Rafa Benitez, hey, for sure. And they're a bit interesting. Now, my initial thoughts were the last sentence of what he said, from what I remember yesterday. We'll see in a minute if I'm correct. Yesterday, I think I said the last sentence. It just made me wonder if he'd spoken, in Castellano, in Espanol, in Spanish, or even Valenciano, and his quotes had been translated to English, and sometimes the Spanish is, it's not like for like sometimes. You put it in a translator like Google Translate, and it's not always very accurate. Don't get pollo and polla mixed up if you ever come to Spain, especially if you're a fella, all right? You know what I mean? If you go in somewhere in town and say, where can I get some polla, when really you mean pollo, you might end up somewhere else. Try anything once. Right, let's focus on what he said. So when the news came out that Klopp was off, Rafa said, I have an advantage. I know people in Liverpool and also in the club. You can't mistake that in a translation, I think. More or less, I think that's menos or más. It's the other way around, I think, or más or menos. You can do it that way if you want. I know how it happened. I know a little bit more about how it went internally. I know. And he deserves even more credit for being there and coming out and announcing it. That's where it sounds a little bit, where it doesn't really, you know what I mean? He has gone and spoken to the club, for sure, giving them time to reorganise, which on one hand is very German. I only have positive words about Klopp. He's my friend and I have a good relationship with him. He has done and is doing an enormous job. All I can say about Klopp and Liverpool is positive. And he said that ahead of their match with Girona last weekend. Now, Bri Partridge said yesterday in the live stream, he said, he was talking to goal reporters. But when I went to goal, they said Klopp told reporters. It didn't say goal reporters. I was just trying to find the absolute origin of where, sorry, I don't know if I said Klopp then. Rafa was speaking to goal reporters, but when I looked on goal, it said Rafa was talking to reporters. It's very important. Sometimes you probably go like, what does it matter? Well, it does matter, because I want to know if he said it in Spanish. I think he'll have said it in Spanish. And then if it's in Spanish, that means the organisations have translated them. And they haven't always got the best intentions. Lost in translation and all that. But it can also be an excuse. When a player's trying to leave the club, Coutinho, for his, no, it's lost in translation. Yeah, all right. So let's just focus on what he said again, please. I have an advantage. I know people in Liverpool and also in the club, more or less. I know how it happened. I genuinely do think he is alluding to that he has heard something there. I don't think that's like a translation issue. And he's saying, I know a little bit more about how it went internally. He's not saying how it could go internally. Do you see that little difference of how it went, how it could go? Because he could be talking about how he knew how things operated when he was there, but not with these lot, So I do think he is saying he knows a little bit more. And Jurgen, he deserves even more credit for being there and coming out and announcing it, which is suggesting that he thinks he's being brave, which is, you could, purely speculating here, say he stood up to the owners and said, you know what, I'm going. He could have, I don't know if that's what he means here, but Why does Klopp deserve credit for announcing that he's leaving? Why would you need credit for that? Or is it just like it must have been a hard decision to leave behind something that you love? Do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to shit stir. I'm just trying to look for what it could mean. And then he's been hypothetical. You know, he's suggesting, isn't he? He's gone and spoken to them, giving them time to reorganise, which on the other hand is very German. So there's nothing in that bit. The last bit, I don't know which it was. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know what you think. Do you think he's saying he's heard something? I've got to be honest with you. If you think that, you know, Rafa has got a direct line to the owners, no one's going to be speaking to Rafa. A lot of people that were once at the club are no longer there when Rafa was there. However, there are people at the club at not a very high level within the club that are still there that Rafa would have spoken to on a regular basis, which includes people that I know that know those people as well. Does that make sense? So, but at the same time, we've not really seen any leaks. Although I did mention in 2 videos on here to you guys and also the members, something that was being discussed in September and December by Jurgen's closest lieutenants. So my initial thoughts with the Rafa comments is that he said them in Spanish. He said them in Spanish and it's been translated. But even if it has been translated, I do still think he is alluding to being aware of something, because he talks about having an advantage. What advantage? The advantage is I know people in Liverpool and also the club. Wow, we're forgetting that bit as well. So he's saying that, you know, he's alluding that he knows people in the club, but he's also saying in Liverpool, which means key people, important people, people that would maybe be privy to this. It could be legal people. It's not the milkman. It's not Rafa's milkman. Do you remember? Google it. Was he called John? Someone remind me. Was he? Fucking Rafa. Ah, dear me, dear me. Ah, dear me. You know, at the end of the day, Rafa's probably right. You know, some people can't see a priest on a mountain of sugar, can they? Ah, dear. I think this is Rafa. I think that Mr. Rodson, there's nothing more insulting than calling someone Mr., is there, in this context? I think that Mr. Rodson, he doesn't understand. He's a thick cunt, basically. Every single press conference is even worse than the last one. He's talking about things he doesn't know, and some people cannot see a priest on a mountain of sugar. I used to say to my mum when I was a kid, "What's for tea, Mum?" And she'd go, "Will you get out of my way? What's for tea? Shit with sugar on." Anyway, I'm off. Right, so Rafa, he's got his opinions. He thinks that there's something gone on there. I think, even if it was translated into English, I love Rafa. I really do like Rafa, man. I miss Rafa. Rafa's cool. But I said I'd make a video about it. That's my thoughts. I don't think he's got a direct line. Well, he hasn't got a direct line to the owners. They don't give a fuck about Rafa. They didn't want him anywhere near the club when they took over because they knew he'd be too powerful. But he knows people and people talk. And Rafa, in my opinion, has heard something. If you appreciate this video, please thumbs up. Hit that super love heart thingy-majiggy and I'll add your name to the video description. I've updated that today. But more importantly, it doesn't cost you anything to like the video or to leave me a comment. Your thoughts are very important to me, especially during this period where we're all going, what's going on? All right? All right.